Hello everybody, this is Stephanie from IP820 and this is the quick version of how to do the SPSS steps for Unit 10 Homework 8. So as you can see here, I've already downloaded the file. I have everything here open in front of me. We're supposed to open the data file, familiarize ourselves with the variables. This contains more than 40 variables for each of about 1,500 respondents. The variable prestige 80 is a scale variable which codes the respondent's occupational prestige score. A higher value indicates a more prestigious occupation. We're going to investigate which other variables predict the occupational prestige score. Undertake a multiple regression to determine whether occupational prestige is predicted by the variables listed below. So the predictor variables are respondent sex, their general happiness, the number of children they have, the highest year of school completed, and whether the respondent takes illegal drugs or has a drinking problem. And we'll get down here to the rubric in just a little bit. So I'm in the 5th edition of the Brace, Kemp, and Snelger book. That for me is on, and for multiple regression, I'm on page 275. I know that many of you have the 6th edition book, which has a different page number, but the heading I'm under is called Section 4, Performing Multiple Regression on SPSS. And I'm at the point where it starts to go through the steps. So in my SPSS, I'm going to begin by selecting Analyze, from there Regression, from there Linear, and then that opens up this dialog box. So my dependent variable is that occupational prestige that we were talking about before. So I need to select that and move it into the dependent variable. And then from there, I need to select my independent variables, which was that list that we have over here. So we have sex, happiness, children, education, illegal drugs, and drinking problem. And let me just make sure I got everything. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think we've got everything. So I'm following through the steps directly from the textbook here. So we've gotten our dependent variable, our independent variables. Under method, enter is already selected and we want to just stick with that. Next, I'm going to check the statistics box, or select the statistics box here. We want estimates to be checked. We want model fit. We also want to request descriptive statistics as well as collinearity diagnostics. From there, I believe that is all good. I'm going to select continue. On the next page, I'm going to select plots because we want some visuals here. And so I'm going to select the Z residuals for the Y and the Z predictors for the X. And I'm going to select normal probability plot. And then I'm going to do continue. And now I'm at a point where I can then move forward doing okay and let SPSS do its thing. So what we have here is the output, and the Brace et al. Book is really great because it goes through and explains the meaning of all of these different charts that we have, and it shows us how to do our output. But basically, we have some important descriptive statistics here. For instance, we can see the mean score for their occupational prestige for the 933 participants. One thing to note, there's no such thing as a mean for sex. So this is not actually relevant. SPSS doesn't necessarily know that it's not relevant, but we would know when we're putting this table into our document that it's not, because there's no such thing as an average of a man and a woman. So male or male, female. And there, as far as we could see for the categories, there was no third option or anything like that. So this meaning is, this data is meaningless here. We have, our score, our mean score for happiness, mean score for number of children, so on and so forth. So you would definitely want to either copy, and I know some people are having issues copying, try double clicking the box. So I don't know if you saw before, I can't copy it, but then if I double click it and then try it, I can copy it or copy special. But Dr. Flo has been encouraging us for the last few weeks to start making our own tables. So, you know, I'm just going to drag this over here quickly. So for instance, like in this document here, I created my own table within the Word document. So you could certainly do that. Then you only need to include the most important information from some of these tables. So anyway, that was included in my output. Let's see, provide the correct output for multiple regression, Prestige 80, provide a p-plot and the scatter plot. Okay, so we're going to find our p-plot and scatter plot all the way here at the bottom. We'll discuss that in a little bit. Report the main findings of variance explaining the outcome variable by all predictor variables following APA guidelines and whether this was significant. You'll have to combine the information from model summary, which is this one here, and ANOVA tables, include approximate statistics in the text. So basically, our model summary is giving us some important information. Basically, our adjusted R-squared at 0.271 is what tells us that we have a good model here, that this model gives us some important information, and that 27.1% of the variance that we are seeing is accounted for by the model. So that will come up a little bit later in your reporting, but you would want to include this table or recreate it on your own. And then the ANOVA table is important because we we have kind of this is the information that we're going to eventually be reporting, but we see here that things are significant, that this 0.000 value is telling us that we have a significant model. So let's see what else. Our coefficients give us also some very important information. This will help us see the strengths of each individual element as it contributes to the model. So for instance, we can see here that the highest year of school completed gives the strongest information at 0.509, whereas these other ones are much weaker. The other important thing to look at before we even, I guess, pay attention to these beta coefficients is the significant value over here. So these numbers here, none of them are significant because they're all greater than 0.05. So when we look at all of these different variables that were being compared with that prestige score, the only two that were significant were highest year of school completed and illegal drug use, with 0.000 significant and 0.001. So these two are significant, all the others were not significant, and we can see that this 0.509 is moderately strong, and this 0.094 is quite weak. So it is a significant statistical value, but it's a very weak correlation, or very weak strength. So the other thing to look at is this tolerance column over here. Basically, larger numbers that are approaching 1.0 indicate that that this assumption has not been violated, so we're good to go with the data. On the other hand, if the values were too close to 0, there would be area for concern. All of these are quite close to 1.0, so we're good to go with that. So that's where our reporting would come in. You're going to want to refer to, in my book, Reporting the Results is on page 282. I'm not sure in the 6th edition what page it is, but there's a section that says Reporting the Results with the little gear symbol, and it really spells out exactly how you should indicate things. I worded mine something like those values that were significantly correlated with the criterion variable occupational prestige were entered as predictors into a multiple regression using a standard method. a significant model emerged. F, left parenthesis, 6, comma, 926, right parenthesis, equals 58.639, comma, P is less than 0.005. So if you're wondering where I got that information, that's from this ANOVA table here, the 6 degrees of freedom, which represents the 6 different categories we had. And then the residual is 926 is I can't remember off the top of my head how that's calculated, but in any case, these are the two numbers that get reported based on the Brace book. And the F value is from here, and that P less than 0.0005 is coming from this. Continuing on, the model explained 27.1% of the variance. That's this adjusted R square number right here. In occupational prestige, table 4, and that's what I labeled my tables as in my paper. Yours might be different depending on how many tables and how you label them. Gives information about regression coefficients for the predictor variables entered into the model. Highest year of school completed and illegal drugs, marijuana, cocaine, were significant predictors. So again, that's coming from this coefficients table here, since those were the only two that were significant. And then I shared those beta numbers. So education had beta equals 0.509, T equals 17.492, which we're getting from right here, and P is less than 0.0005. And then health, illegal drugs, marijuana, cocaine, B is 0.094, T equals 3.244, and P is equal to 0.001, with positive relationship to occupational prestige. The effective highest year of education had a moderate association at 0.509, which we discussed before. However, the effective illegal drug use has a weak association, beta equals 0.094. General happiness, respondent sex, drinking problem, and number of children were not significant predictors. And so then I shared each of the informations for those. I'm not going to list them all out because it'll take time. Basically, I gave the beta, the T, and the significant value for each of them. And then I concluded by kind of reiterating the kind of tests that I had done, the different variables, the results that I had had, and that was that. So hopefully this helps you get through the assignment or homework number 8 in Unit 10. If you have any questions, please stay in touch. Dr. Flo and I are here to help.